What's going on, guys? My name is Aldeniro and welcome to episode 1 of my brand new FIFA 15 career mode with Leicester City. If you guys haven't really seen any of my career modes before, you're just clicking on this not really too sure what to expect. We're going to be playing on World Class. I did play on Legendary for a good portion of FIFA 14, but I think it's better to start this off at World Class because I don't want to be struggling in the first few games because I think that would be a little bit of a hindrance. But in FIFA 14 I started a career mode in December. It ran all the way through until a couple of weeks ago. We got to the year 2024 and spanned 219 episodes, and I'm going to try and do something similar to that this year. We're playing with Leicester City. As you can see, they want us to reach the last 32 of the domestic cup, and they've set us some goals in the league. Obviously we just have to avoid relegation and then we're pretty much set with the board, and I think that is what this series is going to be about. We're not going to be finishing in 4th or anything like that. This is going to be a progressive series where we just start off hoping to avoid relegation, pick up some nice deals with some players along the way, and see how certain hidden gems and unknown players in that develop. So this is the squad report on the screen of the team that we're looking at. By the way, if you guys are excited for this series in any way and you want to leave a like on the video, that would be awesome. If we could hit 1,000 likes, that would be so ridiculous. It has happened before on my channel about 3 or 4 times, and it'd be awesome to start off FIFA 15 with such a milestone, I guess, in terms of the likes on the video. Plus it really does help the channel out and things of that nature, so if you are up to it, that would be awesome. But yeah, we're playing with Leicester City now. I've developed a strong affinity with Leicester City over the last few years. I think my very first ever FIFA video was back in FIFA 12, and it was some Leicester City gameplay. It's not available on my channel anymore. I also did a Leicester City career mode in FIFA 13. I think it was my very first ever career mode, so it's pretty cool to be revisiting a team like this. And last season we were Everton. We didn't really get enough progression with Everton to keep me happy, like in terms of how the game actually went, but I think with Leicester City I've set a really sort of nice challenge to start off where we just have to avoid relegation, and then we can build and build and build. And maybe we'll move clubs along the way, maybe we'll manage a country like we did last time, maybe we'll find some amazing regens like we did last time. I don't know how it's going to go, but as you can see on the screen here, Real Madrid have signed Raheem Sterling for a meager £13 million, which is just nothing. I went and made an inquiry for an Stasic because the board actually told me straight up that we needed a centre back, and I didn't really agree too much. But I don't know, like we've got Upson, we've got Morgan and Moore. I really like Morgan and Moore. I think they're amazing in real life. They play really well together, and they'll be no different in this game. I also went in and made a bid for Gary Mackay-Steven because I noticed that his contract is up at the end of the season, and Dundee United were likely to settle for a lower price for him. And he's a player I really admire. He's a very skillful young prospect in Scotland, and he's a player I've wanted to sign for several career modes now, but just never actually did it. So it'll be nice to finally actually get that done, because the central attacking midfield position is one that could do with strengthening in this squad, but also the left wing could do with some strengthening, and Mackay-Steven can actually play there if needs be. But we find out that PSG have made a bid for Nastasic, which was quite annoying, so I had to go in and up my bid if we wanted to get him in. He's obviously a very highly sought after prospect, and he's not really wanted at Manchester City, and that's why I went for him in the first place. But then we also found out that Levante from Spain were going in for Gary Mackay-Steven as well, and that was kind of bad for us because we found out how many teams wanted this guy, and when you increase competition like that, you drive up the price, and that's bad news for us because we only had a transfer budget of about £8 million, I think, and a wage budget of 40 grand. So the less money that we spend on players, the better, because it is going to be very important. Our team is not very good. In terms of Ultimate Team, we've got 1 gold player in the whole team, and that's Esteban Cambiaso. But we did get our bid accepted for Gary Mackay-Steven of 2.4 million, and I offered him a contract which thankfully he ended up accepting because I have a feeling he could be a massive player for us this season. He's got 5-star skills, which isn't much use to me. I'm trying to become better at skills. But we also went in for this guy Ryan Bennett, a young Norwich City defender who looks decent enough. He's got an overall of 70 and he's 24. Defenders generally peak around the ages of 28 or 29, so I think that Bennett could be quite a decent player. The board seemed happy enough with that kind of decision as well to go in for him because they said that he was a hot prospect is what they said. But our first preseason game is against Parma, and I've just put like a couple of clips on the screen from what happened in that game. Check out this goal, by the way, from Dave Nugent into the top corner. The goalkeeper did not react at all, and I found that very, very, very strange because, you know, you give the ball to someone on the edge of the area after a corner kick, it's pretty much like their right to shoot, but I don't think he should have scored that goal. I think the keeper should have saved it, but Parma did come forward immediately after, and Paolo De Shelley, of all players, ended up scoring for them with his right foot as he finessed it, not even into the corner, it was into the middle of the goal. Kasper Schmeichel should have had it, but this was just the first bit of gameplay. I didn't actually play any preseason friendlies apart from this one. I simulated all the others, but I just wanted to get a feel of the game and figure out for myself if there was a difference between this and the demo, because I only got FIFA 15 today, and what you are seeing is literally the first games I've ever played on it. I haven't played anything apart from this. But we come out of that game after a 3-1 defeat to find that Norwich City have rejected our bid for Ryan Bennett, and I couldn't figure out what player to offer them, so I just offered straight up cash of 1.5 million. He's valued 1.3 million, and I thought I would stand a chance of getting him with that. But then we find that Swansea City have also bid 2.1 million for him, which is just typical enough the way things were going in terms of our luck, and how we keep on going after these players who are wanted by so many other teams, as we find out that FC Augsburg and Hull City are also interested in him, and then we simulate our game against Atletico Madrid, which does result in a defeat for us. But first impressions on the career mode purchasing system is that if you try and sign a player, every other team also tries to sign that player. So I went and inquired to Celtic for the availability of Virgil van Dijk, who is a Dutch defender who I have no doubt will turn out to be a great player. But I didn't really want to go for him. Like, in terms of the signings that I make, and this is something actually, if you are still watching this video, if you want to leave some suggestions for the players that I should sign, do go ahead and do that, because I am very interested in your opinions. But I like to keep the signings relatively realistic until the series grows its own identity, until around the end of the second season, because that's the stage where anything could happen and it will still be realistic enough, you know. Like, there are certain transfers that happen in real life that you just can't predict 2 years down the line, so I think that's kind of the cutoff point, and before that I like to go for realistic players. But Celtic did accept our bid for Van Dijk. I had to alter my wage budget to offer him a contract, but I was still very apprehensive about the deal, because it's a lot of money to go on one player in a position that we don't really need strengthening in terms of, we don't need a monster centre back when we have two very competent Premier League centre-backs, in my opinion. So I made this inquiry for this guy here, Luca Ante, or Anti. If anyone knows how to pronounce his name, if you want to let me know, that would be great. And I offered 900 grand for him because he's 69 rated, he's only 22, so you give him 4 or 5 seasons, he should go up to a 75 or a 76 maybe, if we're lucky, and I think he just could be a very, very good player. His stats initially, his standing tackle, his interceptions, his defensive stats, they all look relatively decent, and I think he could do a great job at the club. So I offered him 9 grand a week, even though he was only asking for 7, and I did that so that I could bump his squad role down to squad rotation player instead of first team player. But our bid for Van Dijk was accepted, and I stalled on it because I just didn't want to lose that massive that massive amount of money immediately, you know, on a player like that. So we inquired about the availability of Scott Dan, a centre-back from Crystal Palace, and Ben Turner, the centre-back from Cardiff City. So we're going to make some bids for them. We'll find out what will happen in the next episode, which will be up tomorrow, hopefully. And hopefully you guys are enjoying the idea of this series. Hopefully you guys are as excited for it as I am. If you are, again, please do leave a like. That would be awesome. And let me know who you think I should sign, if you guys have any suggestions for younger players or players who won't cost millions and millions of pounds. But yeah, that's been episode 1. I can't wait for episode 2. I've been Aldeniro. Thanks for watching.